All right, coming up right now, order up. One frying pan plus a crazy customer equals a full order of mayhem at a Colorado Panera.
Also coming up, there she is, defying the odds when it comes to age and beauty, why this pageant queen is making headlines.
And a little bit later, a royal flush, the latest on the redheaded stepchild known as Prince Harry and his inheritance windfall.
Oh boy, it always works out for him, doesn't
Indeed.
it? Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
I am Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash for our midweek show. We are so glad to have you here. We're also joined by our buddy Matt Doolittle, who's
Hi, Matty.
rocking and rolling over there.
Guys, I started watching The Penguin finally.
It's amazing.
It's amazing, but I have a problem. You know, we've got all this thing where you got people playing people. Now, one of the sexiest men alive, Colin Farrell, they made him look all ugly and stuff. They couldn't have gone and found a fat, ugly guy to play it. Like, I feel there's enough fat, ugly guys out there.
I was available. I don't understand. But I think my feet look too pretty. That's the only nothing.
Yes. I wonder how many hours he spends in makeup.
He has to, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
To me, I would go, look, I'm going to go home. I'm going to wear this home. People aren't going to recognize
There's
me
a couple
anyway.
close-up shots where you can see it's him in the eyes.
Little bit,
But when
yeah.
they're wide shots, nothing.
Yeah.
And when you watch this show, I want you to watch his mannerisms that I picked up because he has these twitches just like a penguin would do. It's amazing because it's a great show. If you haven't watched it, you need to.
The writing is superb. The
great.
casting is incredible. Yeah, and honestly, like if you didn't know it was Colin Farrell, you wouldn't know. I mean, it's
You'd think it was
just-
Paul Giamatti with a little extra
somebody,
makeup.
right.
It could be. Gen Z being fired left and right by corporate America.
And the reasoning?
Well, as you might be surprised, they're not very good at being in a structured work environment.
Yes. Yeah, I can understand that. So
they're struggling with the hours. They're struggling with having to deal with working with other people. They're struggling with trying to maintain tasks and follow directions.
Shirt and tie, 9 to 5.
Right, 9 to 5. And of course, they're triggered by a lot of things. So, one comment or one wrong glance in a different direction and they
It's
have
the
to go
woke
home.
world too. Yeah, I'm sure has a little bit to do with that as well. And you mentioned last week about Google making everybody come back to the workplace.
Yes.
I think even when bigger companies start doing it, the medium-sized companies are going to do that as well, which puts them back into that 9 to 5 scenario.
Which I think you've got to have. It's sort of a taste
so.
of reality. I mean, yes, you've been in school, you've been living with your parents, you've been in college, you've kind of been in this nice environment, and now you've got to kind of make that transition into the workplace. It's not an easy one for anybody, but I think it's, having people actually go back to work into the physical workplace is a good thing.
Okay, a full circle statement, working 9 to 5. The last song they played on the opening episode of Penguin.
Yes.
So here we go.
Yes.
There was a reason why you brought that up. I love it. Let's jump in now and find out some trending stories out here. A Panera Bread worker came to the rescue of employees and customers. And it all started when a crazed man began attacking people inside one of their Colorado locations. Once you look at this, video shows the suspect screaming like a maniac, throwing items from the counter at the restaurant staff. The customer rushes up behind him and tries pushing him away, but the lunatic turns around, knocks down the Good Samaritan to the floor, and that's when an employee appears with a giant pan and strikes the guy across the head as another customer
That's my favorite part.
tries to restrain him, right? Look at that. The suspect has been identified as Isaac Ross from the Glendale Police Department, a suburb just outside of Denver. Investigators say that he returned to the same Panera and had another violent outburst.
Oh my
Cops are asking anyone who knows where Ross is at to contact them ASAP. And there's your something to do at work. And it's, again, we say this all the time. It's almost like a theme. It's like, why you're not given an excuse. Why is this crazy behavior happening? But if we look at it, it's always been happening. We just have cameras now and we see it.
You think so?
And we need to die down. Well, I think it's more when I don't think this guy was motivated to be an influencer. I'm just saying that crazy people come into places and do stuff and they're caught on tape, and this maybe hopefully would stop them.
I I would venture a little further and say I think because of reality TV and I think because of social media, people are more prone to not only take out their phones and record it, but they're also more likely to do stupid stuff like this. I'm not saying he did it intentionally. I think there's some mental I think there's some mental issues at play here. But I do think that we've sort of got to a point in our society where it's okay, it's normal, and then businesses are being punished because they kick people out like this, or they don't want
the guy
a customer.
hits him over the hand. You defied the
now
rules.
I'm suing you for $10 million and I'm shutting down your restaurant because I was out of control and my behavior was terrible.
And taking no responsibility whatsoever.
Zero.
Every time I go to Panera, though, they do leave cheese on my sandwich, and I get a little. Come on,
you need a pan over your head.
Every single time.
You're a no cheese guy.
No cheese.
Yeah. All right. Very good. A pageant contestant is defying all odds and showing the senior set a new way to follow their dreams. Meet the 80-year-old Miss Universe contestant from South Korea. Her message: beauty has no age. She has just landed the title of the pageant's oldest entrant ever. The Miss Universe organization has lifted a number of restrictions on age, marriage status, and motherhood. This pageant contestant is living out her golden years as a mom, grandmother, and an inspiration.
She's gorgeous.
She is stunning.
Which is not all that what it is. I think you as you get older, you learn more and more things, and you have a better aspect on life. And maybe the question, what would you want to do if you could change everything? It'd be more than just world peace and that sort of thing. But it gives a lot of perspective.
Yeah,
I would like to see how this winds up. And she's beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd be more impressed if she entered the Nathan's hot dog eating contest and competed in that one.
That's what would turn you on.
That would get me going.
The gray hair does it for me. I'm sorry. I love that white hair. You all know I have a thing now for that. But all right, hot dog.
To each his own.
To each his own, man. I like that. Right. I think Thursday.
Our camera guys agree with you.
Yes. Nick can join you in your therapy session. Thursday is wide open for your therapy. I have him on speed dial. All right, we go from one beauty queen to, another sense of royalty. Prince Harry, he's now rolling in dough. The disenfranchised Duke just inherited $10 million on his 40th birthday. Thanks to his royal relatives and great-grandmother, a trust fund for the grandchildren set up back in 1994. Harry and his older brother, Prince William, received their money on their 21st and 40th birthdays. Now, the siblings received $8 million when they hit 21, then another $10 million when they hit 40. Despite rejecting his royal roots and writing a tell-all trashy novel about the family, they still sent him birthday wishes. That's good, at least. Their greeting came from the form of a public post, though, included a photo of Harry smiling. It was taken back in 2018. That's a great smile. His wife, Meghan, was cropped out of the picture, however.
Oh, that's some catty stuff.
I kind of got to give it to them for that.
So, we were feeling sorry for him for a while. I mean, he knew that this money was coming. And you can live, if you know that a lot of money is coming, all you got to do is just live to a certain age. You can pretty much still have that attitude like, look, I'm all right, I'm fine, I can do whatever I want.
But in this day and age, the way he likes to live, 10 million is not going to go very far.
Well, wait, he can finally put up those privacy walls they've been wanting.
Oh.
Because they want their privacy.
They cost $10 million to build, so now he's gone.
So
that's what he's going. Now Meghan won't have to worry about it.
Now he's got his privacy and no money. One New York driver learned a lesson the hard way. You've got to move your car on Block Party Day.
Got to.
Pictures posted online show a silver Audi with New Mexico plates wrapped in plastic following the annual Hausman Street Block Party in Brooklyn. No parking Saturday signs were affixed to the car's front and back windshields. Red Solo cups along with silly string and bits of food were also placed on the car. The vehicle was coated in condiments like ketchup and mustard, covered in stickers featuring a man's face. Some posters online called it mob justice, while one person suggested the driver will likely never return to New York City.
I'm all for it, except for looked like they had cheese on there, and the cheese can melt and mess up the paint. But everything else looks like they were trying to be nice. But keep that in mind.
In New York, that's street art.
That would be street art.
Yes.
You're right.
Is it a Banksy?
It could be a Banksy.
Take a picture of it. It's a traveling art exhibit, apparently. Officers in Missouri, they encountered something way out of this world when a unique vehicle actually caught their attention. Check this out. Deputies pulled over what looked like a spaceship. There it is during a traffic stop. The space car, guess where it was headed? To New Mexico, Brady.
Of course.
For a festival.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was pulled over for a lane violation as well as expired tags. Driver was let off with a warning,
Fire
but
tags.
not before officers were able to snap a few photos with their mobile spaceship that they see
course.
there. Yeah, you gotta, if you're gonna be on the road, you better make sure your tag and everything is up to date and everything's working on it.
Still looks better than a Cybertruck.
I don't know about that.
It's probably got just about the same amount of metal around it.
Yeah.
They're probably heading out to New Mexico.
Area
Roswell.
51 festival.
Well, Roswell has it on July 4th. It's their big thing. But the Balloon Festival might be going out there.
That could be
That's
it
coming
too.
up. It's actually happening on right now. It's
Now,
going on
my
right now.
question is that the same car that was parked on the New York streets, and that's just the way they figured out how to cover it and get home?
Yeah, but could be. Could be the best way. Who knows?
I'm just wondering.
We would love to hear from you. Go to our website, dailyflashshow.com. There you'll find, just a sound off button. You hit it, it sends us an email. We love hearing anything we talk about in the show. We want to hear your thoughts on it. dailyflashshow.com.
We are back right after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to Daily Flash. Our next guest is author and comedian Kat Timpf. She's also co-anchor of the #1 late night show Gutfeld. In her new book titled I Used to Like You Until ... She discusses how binary thinking divides us. Please welcome Kat Timpf to Daily Flash. Woo! There she is. Hey Kat, how are you?
I'm doing great.
It's great to have you here. Kat, I saw Gutfeld last week, and I saw you on when President Trump was on the show with you guys. What was that whole experience like?
I was honestly so nervous about it because, I'm somebody I'm politically independent. I vote with third party, so I'm not for either Kamala or Trump, and I think he pays enough attention to know that. So I was especially nervous about that. Also, it's just really weird to be in the same room as somebody who is literally probably, I would say, the most famous person in the world. I don't know who else would be more famous than he is. But he was very nice, and it was just a fun show and a fun interview. And I got to ask a question about aliens at Area 51. So it was really one of those experiences where the whole time it was happening, it kind of felt surreal to me, and then it was over.
When you asked him the question about the aliens, were you satisfied with his response? What did he tell you?
Of course. I mean, he didn't say no, but I really thought if there's one person who has been the president who might just go ahead and say something, then it would be him, right?
Very true.
So I had to take my shot.
I loved it. Let's talk about the book. Tell us, what is binary thinking? It's a part of the title of the book.
So binary thinking is just the two sides, just one side versus the other, whether it's conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat. I think right now we live in this time where you hear one thing about a person, and you'll think that tells you everything you need to know about the person, whether it's how they voted, where they work. It can be a whole list of, and that just really isn't the case. I mean, issues are often complex and nuanced, and people always are. So I definitely live that by being someone who's independent politically, but then I work at Fox News. Sometimes viewers will be upset with me for having views on things that are not conservative, but then people on the other side will get mad at me because I work here in the first place. And it's just, I'm a dynamic person, and so is everyone out there that I'm talking to. So this book is really a guide for how to connect with people who might have written you off, and really the benefits of doing that, because there's both the media and politicians really can benefit when we're divided, but we have a lot to lose.
Very true. How frustrating is it when you get to a point where, and you've really dissected it well with the binary thinking, but it seems like we can't have civil conversations anymore. We can't put a political sign in the front yard because it may be torn down or our neighbor may never speak to us again. It gets really frustrating, and I feel like 90% of us are okay and agreeable and can have these conversations, but 10% of us who are the loudest, who scream the loudest, who march and chant and destroy things are the people that have the deciding word.
Yeah, and they make a lot of other people afraid. So that's why I felt the need to write this book, even though it's definitely a huge risk to come out with a book like this at a time like this. When it's an election, things are really heated. People want to hear why their side's the best and the other side's the worst. But we also, like I said, have the most to lose. I think a major tool, and again, this book serves as a guide for how to connect with people who might have written you off, but an overall theme would be vulnerability. I'm very vulnerable in this book. I tell a lot of stories that I've never told before. I share a lot of personal details about myself that I've never shared before. I mean, I get really deep talking about stuff. And I do that in the hopes that other people can do that too. Because if we want people to see each other as human, we have to be able to show that we are human ourselves. And that can be difficult, but it really is going to be a huge part of us getting out of this. And also focusing on the fact that, also I'm on tour right now. I'm a comedian on tour all over the place. I mean, I'm going to be in Idaho and Salt Lake City this weekend. Then I'm going to be in Austin, Texas after that. I've been in all these different kinds of places. And as different as people are, I've noticed that a lot of people want the same things. And sometimes what we're arguing about is not that we think something's a problem, but just that we have a different solution to a problem that we both agree on and that affects us. So maybe focusing on what we have in common is really, really going to be a huge.
Yeah, I think that's a terrific point. I know you kicked off your tour in Los Angeles. What's it like going back to LA where you struggled for a time? I think you even said you worked at Boston Market when you were there struggling and lived with a bartender.
Yeah.
What was it like being on stage there with the success that you have now?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's just been amazing. I mean, I really struggled in LA. I was supposed to go to journalism school. I got into Columbia Journalism School and then I couldn't afford it. So I stayed in LA learning skills for free through internships, but also working in restaurants, doing stand-up comedy. Apartment. I lived with this bartender for my California pizza kitchen job that I was sort of kind of seeing. And to go back there and perform in a sold out theaters absolutely was a remarkable experience beyond my comprehension to even be able to explain it with words. And I'm pretty good with words. But it's been remarkable. And, I think that comedy is also another part in all of this because not everybody likes to be preached at, but everybody likes to come together and laugh. So that's another huge part of it. I'm very grateful for it.
Kat, congratulations on all your incredible success and the book and joining us here on Daily Flash. For more information and to get a copy of Kat's book, I Used to Like You Until, please visit therealkattimp.com. You'll also find all the tour dates for her shows coming up, and I believe she'll be in Florida in October. Well, Kat, thank you so much.
Come on by, Kat. You're going to be through here. All right, I love, we talk about looking for things that we have in common. She loves skulls, and I love skulls. Did you see in behind her? She was a big fan of the Misfits, too, so you got to love that. All right, we talk about Gayle King now, and she thought someone was actually trying to pull a fast one on her when she got the call that she was going to be a Sports Illustrated swimsuit star. The CBS Mornings host said that she was really happy, but a little skeptical about hearing about the offer. King eventually made her debut in this swimsuit 2024 issue wearing several different one pieces. Now, although Oprah's best friend was originally told she was just going to be featured, they later surprised her as one of the magazine's featured cover models. The 69-year-old King said being on the cover wasn't something that she actually dreamed about, but it quickly became one of her highlights of her career.
I love that.
Altogether. That is cool. How about to say something like that? Because Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue is such a big deal.
She looks gorgeous.
And she does,
in
right.
those pictures.
Is it true? Well, we'll find out.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. I am Matt Doolittle, and welcome to this week's edition of Is It True? And this week's edition may leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth. Now, what I'm asking about today is that I've heard this for years, so much so that I had to do some digging and find out for myself. Is it true that lemons are a man-made hybrid fruit that doesn't actually occur in nature?
Ooh.
Many social media users claim that life never gave us lemons, we gave them to ourselves. It's believed that they were created by humans crossbreeding bitter oranges and citrons. Posts claim that since there are only 3 naturally occurring citrus fruits in the world, that lemons wouldn't be there. So of course, lemons and limes are not part of that. And all others are just hybrids of them. So they must have been created by men. So I ask you, is it true that lemons are man-made?
No, I say no. I say yeah. The man above did this.
I agree.
Floor crew?
Anybody?
Maybe a woman made it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Bitter.
Sour.
That is, in fact, false. There is no evidence to support a human-driven hybridization.
We knew it.
I said a big word there. Event. Mostly likely it was a natural hybridization event that took place several thousand years ago, giving rise to the first lemon tree. So guys, when you take a bite out of a lemon, just know it's not man-made.
It's from the ground.
Oh, and you really are.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Oh my God.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
I don't
I
either.
don't know either.
Yeah. Actually, it's true, Mitch.
All right. kicking off a new segment right now. It's called the Random Top 10 Things, and all you have to do is pretty much guess what number one might be, okay? It's pretty easy, all right? And what you're going to do is you have these little boards right here in front of you. You're going to write it down, give you the subject. You write down what you think it is. Don't share it until the very end.
Okay.
And we're going to even check in with, let's see what Hugo in the control room has to say. You ready? All right, here's this week's Flash 5. What is the craziest things Nicolas Cage has ever bought? From cult classics to blockbusters, his career is legendary. But what about his shopping habits? Very outrageous. Nick Cage doesn't just buy stuff, he goes all out. His spending might have left him broke, but how can you not just love the guy who buys the weirdest, wildest things that money can find? You guys getting something together? You can just pick number one. It's the only thing
that's it? We just have to pick one?
There we go.
Okay.
All right, so as I show the audience the list from 6 to 10, y'all can take that opportunity to write your answer down to find out what the number one thing will be on your board. You'll show it to everyone at the end, and then it's finished. Here we go. We're going to start off with the bottom 5. These are the bottom 5 craziest things Nicolas Cage has ever bought. Number 10 is a pet octopus. We all need that, right?
No, he did not.
He has bought 15 different homes. Of those homes, 2 castles. Okay. He's also bought 4 different yachts because, there's a lot of water in the world, right? And then finally, he bought the Shah of Iran's Lamborghini.
No way.
So he even owns that. Now, that should give you a pretty good idea of some of the wild things, but we're about to hit the Flash 5. Here we go. Number 5. He bought 2 cobra snakes. These incredibly deadly snakes, incredible albino 2 king snakes, lived in his makeshift zoo that housed a number of exotic and dangerous animals. Don't worry, Nikki also kept an antidote serum just in case. Coming in at number 4, a haunted mansion, and we're not talking about the Disney kind either. Way back in 2017, he bought the infamously haunted New Orleans hotel that previous owner used to torture and kill her slaves.
Oh my.
He said that he bought it because he hoped to write a horror novel there, but he never wrote it. Coming in at number 3, it was another New Orleans purchase, what everybody needs, a tombstone that was shaped like a pyramid. It's 9 feet tall, has the Latin words omni ab uno on it, which means everything from one.
Sounds like you're opening a portal.
Yes, it is. It's really freaky looking, isn't it, Matt? Number 2, and this is a crazy one, a Mongolian dinosaur skull. Now this, by the way, is illegal. He bought it back in 2007 over a bidding war with none other than Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh my goodness.
He paid over $250,000 for it. The skull had been stolen from the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. And Nick did the right thing, actually gave it back to the country of Mongolia back in 2014. So that's interesting. All right, and the craziest thing that Nicolas Cage has ever purchased, shrunken heads, like real shrunken heads of people. He actually keeps them in several of his different homes. No one knows if they're actually illegally imported human remains or not. He'll probably just need an audience wherever he goes altogether. Here's the top 10 different craziest things that Nick Cage has ever bought, including your Flash 5. Now let's find out what you guys picked as number 1. We'll go ladies first. What did you pick?
Well, I chose Castle Car movie career. But I ended up Creepy Castle.
Okay, all right. That was on the list. You got that. Very good.
Mine is the dinosaur skull, but also I threw one in there that's not there. Lisa Marie
was on there too.
He did buy her.
I love it. All right, Hugo, what do you have there in the control room? What did you pick down? Castles as well, which came in at the top of number 6, wasn't it?
I think the dino skull would be haunted or cursed or something.
Which is probably why you gave it
Why the
back.
shrunken skulls?
Crazy stuff. That's your Flash 5, and we got more good stuff, including the entertainment you need right here on Daily Flash.
That was fun.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hello, everybody. I am Mitch English.
Hello. I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, your source for trending news and entertainment.
And we will welcome you to our midweek broadcast. So glad to have you here. By the way, anything that we talk about here on the show, you can watch it on our website, dailyflashshow.com. Trending on, these challenges, they pop up on these social media sites.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan
of the challenges.
It's almost like you're that. You'll follow the crowd that easy. You're that much of a lamb that you'll do that. Anyway, there's a new one out. It's called the Murph Challenge. Have you heard of this, Maddie?
No.
Oh, no.
The Murph Challenge. Okay, so here's what the Murph Challenge is.
I already don't like it.
You do 300 squats, 200 push-ups, and 100 pull-ups, okay? And you do it in a certain amount of time. Once you do it, you've done the Murph Challenge, Well, there was this one lady in South Carolina, she did the Murph Challenge, totally did it. It's like, look at me, goes home. Next day, she can't move her arms or anything, right? Which, okay, we all say, all right, you're
sore,
weak.
You're sore. Yeah.
She had to go to the hospital for 4 days, and they had to cut into her muscles to relieve the stress.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to try the name. It was called rhabdomyolysis. And it's something where toxins, what happens is your muscles, that you work out and then minerals and everything go into your well, toxins also do. And those toxins went in, they had to cut it to allow it to go out. It can cause severe liver damage, which it did to this lady. Had to stay in the hospital 4 days. And again, only way that they could, because her muscles really swelled out, was just to cut in to relieve all that pressure. So these things are so stupid. First off, why you want to do 300 squats in the first one?
Any of that. She sounds horrible.
You have an amazing butt
At
because
once?
you did the squats.
At once?
But you're laying on it now because you're not going to be able to pick up. And she said her arms are just waist, she's very weak now because of it. So, there's some challenges. If it's going to cause any kind of physical harm to you, why do it? But people will still do it.
Who is Murph and why did he get a challenge?
I think he was one of the, I don't know if he's that guy that keeps popping up on my thing that says, if you make $150,000 and have a beer gut, I can get rid of it. And I'm like, what does $150,000 have to do with getting rid of a beer gut, right? I don't know if it's that guy or somebody like that. He's obviously a workout guy.
She would have been better off eating a Tide Pod.
Yes.
Less liver damage. Look, if I'm getting liver damage, I'm doing it the old-fashioned way.
Bottle scotch.
Yes. At least if she did that, she could write on the lawsuit, but no muscle use at all.
Here's the other question: does the person who's promoting this get sued?
If you're challenging people to do that, you're almost telling people.
You're right, because you're responsible for inciting someone to do something like that.
It's still the Wild West, I guess, because on television you say do not try this at home, or you would say consult a physician before anything, or even
disclaimers.
Some kind of disclaimer, but you can do whatever you want on social media. Wild West.
This is our reminder from Daily Flash that TikTok is brought to you by China, and in China, TikTok is clearly educational, but in America, it's junk
completely
food.
Different. Keep that in mind, everybody.
A Panera Bread worker came to the rescue of employees and customers. It all started when a crazed man began attacking people inside one of their Colorado locations. Video shows the suspect screaming like a maniac, throwing items from the counter at the restaurant staff. Customer rushes up behind him, tries pushing him away, but the lunatic turns around and knocks the Good Samaritan to the floor. That's when an employee appears with a giant pan and strikes the guy across the head.
That's the best.
As another customer tries to restrain him. The suspect has since been identified as Isaac Ross by the Glendale Police Department. It's a suburb just outside of Denver. Investigators say he returned to the same Panera, had another violent outburst. Police are asking anyone who knows where Ross is to please contact them as soon as possible.
It's scary that first off, there's people out there like that, but it does look like there's a mental issue that's going on. And I'm happy to see that people, Joe Public jumped in and tried to stop it, because you do see a lot of times where people just let them do it and not do anything. It's good to have people out there that they're able to jump in.
Because so often people don't want to get involved because they don't want to get in the middle of something. They don't want to get arrested. They don't want to get sued. So the fact that people were willing to step up to the plate is huge.
Props to the employee hitting him with the pan thing. That's a funny, just bang. Should have just thrown a piece of bread at him. Those things are pretty hard.
They're pretty hard.
That pizza pan, I think, has some meat to it.
Bang, bang.
It's called a peel, if you guys want to know. That's what it's actually called, a peel. Well, it's time to get on the scene. This week, Doreen is chatting it up with Grammy and Tony Award-winning singer and composer and Broadway composer Duncan Sheik.
This week on The Scene with Doreen, I got to sit down with Grammy and Tony Award-winning singer-songwriter Duncan Sheik. He went from dominating the charts in the 90s to taking over the Broadway stage. Check it out. Your monster hit, Barely Breathing, set the bar very high right out of the gate with a whopping 55 consecutive weeks on the Billboard charts and multiple award nominations. Do you feel that achieving such a big hit right away worked against you as an artist in your career moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a double-edged sword in a lot of ways. I think, the problem with having a pop song on the radio in the 90s was that it was very sort of sticky is the word I would use.
Good adjective.
I was like literally saying to them, please get this song off the radio. Please get it off the radio.
You're the first person that has probably ever said that.
Again, like I've made peace with that song. But like literally it's a song I wrote like in 20 minutes, like in the driveway of my mom's house in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
It's the bitch of living, bitch, just the bitch. It's what you can, just the bitch, yeah, just the bitch of living, someone you can't stand.
You decided to make a huge career change and took a leap into the theatrical world by composing the music for the Broadway musical Spring Awakening. It swept the Tonys in 2007. How did it go from creating radio hits to writing the score for one of the most celebrated shows to ever grace a Broadway stage?
My first record did pretty well. My second record did less well. And my third record actually put out a Nonesuch. It was called Phantom Moon. And it was written with Stephen Sater, who is a friend of mine who is, like a poet and writer and a playwright. He's like, why don't you read this play and maybe we can make a musical? It's like, Stephen, I'm like, no offense, mate, but I hate musicals. Gives me this play, Spring Awakening. I had no idea what it was, but it's like one of the most, I guess it's sort of considered the first German expressionist play. So I read the play and I was like, oh yeah, this play is amazing, And then we had a couple of conversations about what we would do with it musically. And I just said, you know what, like, Stephen, I'll do this, but like I am not going to write like typical musical theater music. So if you're okay with me just like writing a bunch of weird like electronic 20th century classical music, folk music, alternative rock music, Radiohead-ish things, then let's do it.
What's the biggest takeaway that you have from all of these different experiences in the music industry?
Sometimes you're going to have a hit song. Sometimes you're not going to have a hit song. If you try to make a hit song, at least in my case, it's not going to work. It's just like you need to write something that is authentic and moving. And weirdly, you need to be selfish. Like, this is like cool to me. Like, maybe nobody else is going to like this, but it's cool to me.
Visit DuncanChic.com and keep up to date with everything that is Duncan Chic.
Doreen, thank you so very much.
And if you want to hear the full conversation, you can visit right here. I'm Doreen Taylor with The Scene with Doreen here at the Daily Flash each week. See you next time.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. Dr. Devika Chopra recently joined forces with Icelandic Provisions. It's one of the fastest growing yogurt brands.
I got to tell you, it's one of my favorites
That's good
too.
stuff.
I love it. And in the latest Bowl Half Full report, she takes a deeper dive into the healthy eating habits of Americans and their optimism state by state. Please welcome Dr. Chopra to Daily Flash.
Hi, doctor.
Thanks for having me.
Let me ask you, how does optimism really affect our mindset as well as our daily habits?
Yeah, well, quite a lot, actually. We know that our optimism and a positive outlook on the day actually deeply impacts our behaviors. And then the vice versa is true. If we engage in healthy habits, it's going to in turn increase our optimism as well.
And what else did you discover from the report?
I was actually really thrilled to find that despite the adversity that we face here in America, that Americans are actually pretty optimistic.
Good.
They actually had an optimism index score of 6.7 out of 10, which is big.
That is pretty big. And there's ways that we can actually fuel our optimism. Imagine that's what we mentally as well as physically put into our bodies, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We found that, health habits like eating a healthy breakfast in the morning, like Icelandic provisions, a bowl of skyr, really engaging in rituals that ground us are a really big part of increasing our optimism.
Very cool. Yeah. And I got to tell you, your day changes, especially when you start your day off on the right foot. That's why they always say it. The rest of your day, you feel really, really
Very
good.
true. Dr. Chopra, thank you. For more information on boosting your optimism with healthy habits, visit IcelandicProvisions.com. You'll find some great advice and also a chance to win a $1,000 gift card to help fill your grocery cart with nutritious foods.
And I'm going to fill my mouth with some of this good yogurt here.
Which one
I'm
are
going to
you
get the coffee brew coffee.
I love the lemon. They've got a good lime one too. Oh, this stuff is so good.
Good stuff. Granola with this would be excellent. All right, well, we have one product out there paying homage to those that help with cleanliness in the workplace. You know who you are. Take a look.
October 2nd is National Custodian Day, a celebration of the impactful contributions of the hardworking individuals who maintain the spaces we enjoy.
It's important to recognize the extraordinary efforts of cleaning professionals around the world. To honor these individuals, Rubbermaid Commercial Products launched its third annual Behind the Scenes of Clean campaign because it's important to thank custodians for the difference they make every single day.
Learn more at rubbermaidcommercial.com/BTSOC.
October is National Car Month, and as we gear up for winter, it's the perfect time to make sure your vehicle is in tip-top shape. Joining us now from the Javelina Express Lube in Saratoga Springs with some expert tips to keep our cars running smoothly is YouTube personality and former ASE certified technician, Eric the Car Guy.
October is National Car Care Month, but I'm an advocate of, paying attention to your vehicle all year long. And one of the things to look out for is noises. Your vehicle is usually trying to tell you something when it's making a noise. So don't ignore those noises. Don't turn up the radio, things like that. What you want to do instead is try to pay attention to when that noise is happening. I'm a big advocate of regular oil changes. I've seen those engines leak less, have less internal deposits, and just have less issues overall. And when I change my own oil, I use Haviland's Lifelong Engine Oil. It's a top-tier motor oil that's perfect for vehicles with high or low mileage, and it's been a trusted brand for over 120 years. Another easy thing you can do is add Techron's fuel system cleaner to your fuel tank. And what this will do, it will help clean and maintain your fuel system. And for extra credit, do it once a season or every 3,000 miles. And this will help keep your engine running smooth for a long period of time. For more information, visit chevronlubricants.com and also walmart.com and select Walmart stores for Techron and Haviland products.
As more Americans enter their later years, questions about health, finances, and quality of life are at the top of mind. In her new book, The Second 30, AARP's Deborah Whitman provides answers and guidance for navigating this stage of life. Here's what you should know.
Americans over 50 are a boon to the economy, and supporting our aging population is important for everyone's health and well-being. Deborah Whitman, AARP's Executive Vice President, is a globally recognized expert on aging.
As I was turning 50, the questions that I had been working on my entire career suddenly became more personal. I wondered, how long will I live and will I be healthy? How long will I work and will I have enough money?
Those questions became the inspiration for her latest book, The Second 50, Answers to the 7 Big Questions of Midlife and Beyond.
I wanted to provide a roadmap for celebrating the second half of life. I shared stories from my own family and people across the country. I interviewed experts and dug into the research. I learned things like how important our social connections are to our mental and physical health and a longer life. The book dives into that and so much more.
For more information on Deborah's book, The Second 50, visit aarp.org/second50.
A report found that a staggering 88% of adults in the U.S. find it hard to understand the healthcare system. With the annual enrollment season in full swing, now is the perfect time to assess your coverage and find the plan that works best for you and your budget. Joining us now to discuss is Dr. Rhonda Randall from United Healthcare. Thanks for being with us.
Open enrollment is that time of year when you're choosing your health plan for next year, depending on your situation. So employer-sponsored plans, your open enrollment period is going to be between now and the end of the year. Watch for that communication to come from your employer. For Medicare beneficiaries, your open enrollment period begins on October the 15th and runs through December the 7th. And for people shopping for individual plans on the health insurance marketplace, that open enrollment period is from November the 1st through January the 15th in most states. My best tip is to plan ahead. This is a decision that you want to make with a lot of information. We put together some tips, resources, and information about plans in your area at uhcopenenrollment.com.
Thanks for all that great info. We'll make sure we have it on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Hey, Mitchie.
Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, I want to talk about that big story coming out of Hollywood.
Hold on, wait. I want to get Matt in on this call, all right? Hold on.
Hey, what's up, Mitch and Dias?
Matty!
Mitchie.
Mateus.
Mitch, my man.
Matty of Berkshire.
What's going on?
Hey, AJ wants us to talk about a big story that's happening.
This kid, the Kiki, says hi. He has his own Instagram.
That's great, Matt, but I really want to talk about this big story coming out of Hollywood.
Ooh, dog and cat, it's
You should check it out. This kid, the Kiki.
I want to know what's going on.
What?
Oh, okay, so real quick. Why does he still have a dial-up modem?
Hey, I gotta get back to wrestling stuff.
It's on the media.
You know what? Maybe we should just try this later.
Okay, all right. Peace and love.
Daily Flash.
Where are you?
It's just better when you're part of the conversation. Join us online. KSA Entertainment believes in our communities. We value those who have dedicated their lives to enrich our own. KSA Entertainment is proud to introduce our corporate initiative, KSA Cares. KSA Cares shines a light, gives a voice, and lends a helping hand through compelling awareness initiatives. From supporting veterans to environmental awareness, KSA Entertainment is proud to produce content supporting ways to help communities all across America.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. It's Wild Wednesday. This is actually the day where we actually invite you into our lives, and I had a major milestone in my life. My one and only daughter got married, and it was the weirdest thing. There she is, my daughter Zoe. She was a beautiful bride and
Gorgeous.
beautiful, integrated. She's grown up, Jackson, hasn't
Wow,
she?
she sure has.
You remember when she was a little girl? That's
Look at her.
at the gate. Now this was a very unusual wedding. It was all outside in Oklahoma, and it was like, and she wanted it to be kind of like a concert, like a lawn concert kind of thing. So we all sat down with blankets and stuff, and they were down at the bottom of the hill. There's Ethan, my new son-in-law. There's my best friend Aaron. So we all wore jackets. Now, when I got all these, I forgot it's going to be 100 degrees in Oklahoma. But anyway, there they are. We were kind of up close, and it was what I loved about it. Is that the ceremony itself took maybe less than 10 minutes.
Oh,
5 to 10
fantastic.
minutes, right?
Yes.
And I go, that's my girl. Whereas I'm like, I want to do all this stuff. And it was amazing. I'm so glad to have Ethan as my new son-in-law. And the only thing is, so he works in Oklahoma. They have cannabis dispensaries everywhere, but they have to have a place to have them tested, right? Well, he works at the testing thing. And for some reason, this is on my mind. And he works in quality control, which I'm like, I go, really? He goes, no, that's what I thought. That's what I said. He goes, no, it's not like that at all. We have to put chemicals on stuff. We don't even touch the stuff. And so anyway, that's on my mind. And so I go, all right, I'm going to give, when I gave the fathers of the bride toast, I go, all right, half of my speech is prepared. The other half I'm going to come from my heart. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. So I did the part that was told some stories when she was really little. And so at the other end, I was just welcoming him into our family and so on and so forth. And so I go, all right, so everybody raise your grasses. And I didn't even realize I said it. And I go, I didn't mean it like that. I swear, and he's like, yeah,
right.
The party favors were not. Anyway, unbelievable wedding. Ethan, we're so glad to have you in our family. And it was so great to see all my family out there too.
That's
anyway,
great.
there it is.
Excellent.
That does it for our show, y'all.
Be good, everybody.
See you when we look at you. Bye-bye.